In an exclusive conversation with WION, Afghanistan's former President Ashraf Ghani's brother, Hashmat Ghani, has refused the reports about him pledging allegiance to the Taliban. He has, however, accepted the Taliban's rule in order to avoid bloodshed. Listen into this exclusive conversation.
With me is Hashmat Ghani. He is an influential figure in the Afghan politics. He also oversees the Ahmadzai tribe, which is one of the largest Pashtun tribes, and also brother of Ashraf Ghani. Sir, welcome to WION. My first question, and an obvious question which is going in the news as well, that you have extended your support, your allegiance to the Taliban. Is it true, sir?
No, sir. This is a misconception. I have accepted their rule. I have not accepted to join them. I have simply told the men that, look, in order to avoid bloodshed, I am accepting the rules since the West and everyone pulled the rug under us. I am staying in to safeguard my tribe, the educated ones, in those, the commercial sector. So, and I have told them frankly, they're very good at bringing out security. They have proven it in the last few days, but they're lacking the cooperation of the intellect, those that have worked for the civil service, those that know how to run the country, those that know how to run the financial sector and the business community. And I'm going to sit in the country. If they want to join a government that is acceptable to people, I would not join them, but I will try to bridge a gap between those so the country doesn't fall or doesn't face a collapse or a total exodus of the people or faces hunger or starvation. Mm-hmm. This is my exact statement.
And our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, is joining us for more on this. Siddhant, let's start with the comments made by Hashmat Ghani. What can you tell us about it? He has said that he has not pledged allegiance but has accepted the Taliban rule.
Well, yes, important comments coming from the brother of the former president of Afghanistan. He basically is saying that it's time to accept the Taliban rule. And, of course, he has an influential role in the Afghan politics. He, of course, is the leader of one of the largest Pashtun tribes as well. And he, of course, is a well-known businessman as well in the country. In fact, not just on the Taliban rule, he also talked about a proposal he has given to both the Americans and the Taliban this morning, about how the Americans are able to leave the Kabul airport in a dignified manner. And of course, Hashmat, of course, having good offices with both the Taliban and Americans can engage. But he also interestingly spoke about India. He talked about that how India should have its embassy in Kabul alongside the Pakistani embassy, and talked about the importance of the India-Afghanistan air corridor. Now, this air corridor was launched with much fanfare in 2017, and since then it has grown. In fact, this is one of the most lucrative air corridor Afghanistan has with many countries. It has this corridor with other countries as well, but with India, it stands out in terms of the products that come from Afghanistan to India. So he said that this shows that how both countries should continue the engagement, particularly on the economic aspect. Of course, one question was expected to be asked was on his brother as well, Ashraf Ghani. He basically wasn't very keen to talk about his brother. He said his brother will basically talk about what actually transpired, but he made it clear that it was important that his brother leave the country or he could have been killed by them. Well, I asked him what does he mean by them. He declined to comment on who these people are, but he said that since his brother is in UAE and his stay there has to be apolitical, he cannot speak. But once Ashraf Ghani finds a place where he can talk about the events of 15th of August when Kabul fell to Taliban, then he will give the details of what transpired on that fateful day.
Right, Siddhant, do stay with us. Let's just listen into his comments about the air corridor that you also just mentioned.
Another question is when it comes to India, How do you see India's role when it comes to the current situation in Afghanistan? We know that there hasn't been any much public conversation as well between India and Taliban. How do you see India and Taliban?
Well, now I think because Indians feel there is a strong Pakistan influence, which no one can deny. I'm sure the Indians are taking the back seat, which in this stage is a smart play. But I have told clearly to Taliban, not just because of India, Iran, Central Asia, Russia, in the West, without an international relationship and without including, and I have just told them in the commercial sector day before yesterday to the highest level of Taliban, the air cargo route that was established for the exports between Afghanistan and India is one of the most successful ones for the Afghan foods, Afghan dry fruits.
Once again, we're being joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent. Siddhant, thank you for staying with us. India continues to bring back stranded nationals. A civilian flight carrying 146 people reached New Delhi. This is the second batch of Indian nationals. What can you tell us about the evacuation process?
Well, this is an ongoing process. This is the number one priority for the Indian government to bring back its nationals, the stranded nationals. A good majority of Indian nationals have been now brought back to India. We saw several flights coming today morning. The flights came. These were connecting flights basically who brought Indian nationals from countries like Qatar because it's NATO that is bringing them to Qatar, and from Qatar these Indians are being brought back. But nonetheless, we do expect the process to continue for a few more weeks. Till the last Indian in the country is brought to India. But also when it comes to the Afghan nationals in the country, we know that there have been desperate calls by many Afghans to come to India, to go to other countries as well. But as far as India is concerned, India started the e-visa system. The Indian Ministry of Home Affairs started the e-visa system. And under this, the e-visa will be granted for a period of 6 months. So who is eligible? Well, everyone is eligible irrespective of anything, including, of course, religion as well. But the vulnerable people in Afghanistan is expected to get the priority. These are women, these are journalists, these are activists, and of course minorities as well, the Afghan Hindus and Sikhs. But it looks like when it comes to Afghan Hindus and Sikhs, a good number has come to India. In fact, yesterday 2 MPs also came to India, Anarkali Honariyar and Narendra Singh Khalsa. We do expect more batches of Afghan Hindus and Sikhs to come to India as well. But nonetheless, it's a long drawn process because the biggest worry is the situation around the Kabul airport, where we have seen heartbreaking visuals of people trying to flee. But also we know that there is a constant threat around the Kabul airport. And also the big worry is not from Kabul to India. That is not the big worry. The big worry is how one comes from across Afghanistan and around the city and in the city of Kabul to the airport, because that is the biggest worry. There are worries of rogue elements infiltrating various checkposts and creating the problem.
Right, Siddhant, thank you so much for joining us with all the latest on that. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.